Hi, Doug Sheddy here. It's been a while since I've put anything out there in either written form or this will be the first time in a video. But as I was pressing into the Lord, I really felt like I had a word and a message for 2019. And so I want to share that. I feel like the Lord is saying so much right now. We're in such a time of uh, disclosure, revelation, understanding, transition. Those are words that have kind of been popular. So as I pressed into the Lord for his heart for this year, right away I got a word out of Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11, that most of us are probably familiar with. And he says, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not an evil, to give you a hope and an expected end." And I want to go into a little bit more of what that means, but the main thing that I heard the Lord say out of that was that he wants us to know his thoughts. There was a sense of um, not frustration isn't the right word, but a sense of him knowing that so many people don't know his thoughts towards them. And he's no longer content or going to just sit back and not let people know. So he's coming into the earth with a sense of purpose and intentionality to begin to awaken us to who we've been created to be from before the foundations of the earth, because he needs us to know. Not only does he want us to know, he needs us to know. So this word, "for I know the thoughts that I think towards you," in the Hebrew is a very comprehensive word, and I won't try to pronounce it because it's a mouthful. But the main thrust of this thought, or this word, is thought, intention, plan, purpose, plot, scheme, invention. And when God thinks, it's different than the way that we think. It's different than how we process a thought. So I want to stop right there and I want to come and create a context for the prophetic. Because so many times there's a prophetic word released that has for the general, or you get a prophetic word that's specific to you, and we don't always understand the implications. So I want to explain context of a prophetic word, and I want to do it in this sense that the Lord works in cycles. He works in seasons. So when he began to teach me his ways and his thoughts, he took me to Genesis. And I began to think about God did not just create the earth in a snap of a finger or in one instant. He did it over a process of 6 days. Then Isaiah 55, verses 8 through 11, gives us another context for understanding his thoughts and his ways. And he says in verse 8, "For my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts." And then he comes on down and he says, "For as the rain comes down from heaven, waters the earth, makes it to bring forth and bud, that it may give," now here's extended purpose, "seed to the sower, bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goes forth out of my mouth. It shall not return to me empty or void, but it shall accomplish, and it shall prosper in the place whereunto I sent it." So the Lord is saying here, I want you to understand something about the way I interact, or I've chosen to work in time and space in the earth. I work in seasons and cycles. When I send my word, it's the initiation. It's the beginning of something that I'm wanting to come out of a process. When I began to understand that God works with me in a season, in a process, And he's going to put me through some things that are designed to bring an outcome that I would not ever achieve had I not gone through those things. Then I began to understand why so many things in my life were happening or weren't happening. And in the earth right now, the Lord is after something. He is initiating a process. So I want to explain something of Hebrew thought in the sense of last year was the Hebrew year 5778. This year is the Hebrew year 5779. Now, Hebrew thought, or think of this as a cycle, 5778 means that the Lord has gone through a cycle. He's brought you around and prepared you. And now 8 is a new beginning. It's a new day. And what this definition of the Hebrew year 5778, it's a lot of things, but the main thing it is that he's brought us around to break through everything that has been a hindrance to us in the past. So to a degree, it's a time of confrontation. It's a time of not going any further in status quo. It's a time to grow. It's a time to break through. It's a time to become something we've never become. Now, those aren't just like desires in general, because there's a specific outcome over here that this whole cycle has been designed to bring us face to face with some things that we have not dealt with in the past, some things we've not been able to get through, some things that are resisting us, holding us back from our future. And so this word, when the Lord began to show me, 5778 flows into 5779. It's not the end of something. It's continued. What I started here to bring you into confrontation will continue now, and this whole season is designed to bring you through. So he said, the reason that I am releasing Jeremiah 29 is because Proverbs 29:18 says that without a vision, the people perish. Without a goal, we seem to fall short of making any necessary changes. Without some sort of motivation, we tend to stay the same. And the Lord's purposes go undone. More or less, you and I are God's plan A. He doesn't have a plan B. What He's designed for you is so important to Him that you get it, that you understand it, and that you initiate some movement towards it, because you're His purpose for something down the road. You're His intention. You're part of His grand scheme, His grand plan. And if you don't get your purpose, then something of the purpose of God goes undone. So it's not a selfish thing. It's rather the accomplishing and the way that God is choosing to move in the earth here. And so he's saying, look, as an incentive, as a motivation, as a goal, I am going to give you an understanding of my thoughts, my plans, my intention, my desire for your future. I desire to give you a good future. I desire to give you a hope. That's a confident and favorable expectation of something to take place in the near future. And you live differently when you have an expectation for something. So I don't want to go on and on here. I really want to take about 8 to 10 minutes, but I'll be back. I want to finish. There's too much here to try to cram in. So I'm going to end for right now. Hold on, though. I'll be back with another session or segment a little while later. God bless you.